Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The great income tax shakeup has everyone talking. But the opposition has been saying this isn't Bharat's budget, it is Bihar's, a state where elections are expected likely next year. But how much of this is true? We do not only a reality check, but also a comparison with the last UPA budget, Chidambaram's budget. Well, to start with, for today at least, Bihar was mentioned 6 times. And not to forget Nirmala Sitharaman's beautiful white sari with colourful Madhubani motifs and an intricate golden border. Coincidental or political? That's something only she can answer or you can judge. From a Makhana board to greenfield airports, infra for IIT Patna, a National Institute Food Technology, there was a lot for Bihar. Prime Minister Modi has called it a people's budget. But Rahul Gandhi said the budget is nothing more than a band-aid for bullet wounds. In fact, Sagarika Ghosh has said it was all about Bihar, Bihar, Bihar. Dayanidhi Maran has said neither Tamil Nadu nor any southern states found any mention today because they are not an election hotline in near future. Congress has said this is Bihar's budget, and how much of this is true before we go any further? Which are the states that did find mention today in Finance Minister's speech? Let's look at that. Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Punjab are opposition ruled states. So we give you an entire run-up of which were the states that were mentioned and how many of them were opposition ruled states. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Punjab. Before we get into the politics of it all, let's listen in. In fact, let's do a comparison. Let's look at what P. Chidambaram in his 2013-14 budget had offered. Bihar was ruled by JDU, which was a BJP ally, and was poll-bound in 2014. It was granted a backward regions grant fund for states, including the Bihar Green Revolution push for states, including Bihar, Nalanda University reconstruction that was a promise given. In Uttar Pradesh, which was an SP-ruled party outside support to Congress, was on offer. From roads to the backward region grant, fund expansion of midday meal schemes and education schemes. You then had Maharashtra, which was Congress-ruled. Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. You had several other offers, including a policy shift for energy infrastructure. And you had Tamil Nadu, of course, which was ruled by AIADMK. Chennai, Bangalore Industrial Corridor expansion of Thoothukudi. Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor development of Dholra Smart Industrial Area. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot that's been said about how the current government at the center has always been biased towards the opposition-ruled states. Every budget after budget. Let's just try and look at what the reality of this is. But first, let's listen into the reactions.
सभी आय वर्ग के लोगों के लिए टैक्स में भी कमी की गई है। इसका बहुत बड़ा फायदा हमारे मिडिल क्लास को, नौकरी पेशे करने वाले, जिनकी आय बंधी हुई है, ऐसे लोगों को, मिडिल क्लास को इससे बहुत बड़ा लाभ होने वाला है। मैं सभी देशवासियों को एक बार फिर इस ऐतिहासिक पीपल्स बजट की बधाई देता हूं।
आज बजट पास हुआ, पेश हुआ, उसमें आप देखिए बजट का पूरा का पूरा लक्ष्य 25 लोगों को फायदा पहुंचाने का। आपको थोड़ा सा दे देंगे, कह देंगे भैया ये लो थोड़ा सा टैक्स माफ कर लेंगे, मगर अगर आप बजट का लक्ष्य देखेंगे तो हिंदुस्तान का धन 20-25 अरबपतियों को देने का है।
Gentlemen, joining me right now is Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Senior Congress Leader and Rajya Sabha MP. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening. First, let me start with this very straight question, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Prime Minister has called this people's budget and some big hits. The big income tax shakeup is something that everybody is talking about it, but how do you look at it?
It's a good thing that they have increased the slab from 7 odd to 12 odd. But, to have all these broad jumlas, if it's a people's budget, a GDP growth can't be 6.3, 6.4, 6.5. And even your projections, this is your own report yesterday, and your projections for the future, which are normally liberal, a little exaggerated and rosy, the projections are themselves 6.3 to 6.8, which means that 6.3 is likely. Now, just doing, and remember, this is the same government going on for 10, 11, 12 years. Now, when it's the same government, the very same thing could have done earlier. If you think that this reduction of income tax slab is going to have such a booster effect, you see your last year's figure published by your CA in your economic survey. So it shows that there is an admission that this has not been working.
So politically, what are you saying, Abhishek Manu Singhvi? Are you then saying that all of this is jumla and bad economics?
Make in India is a shambles. It is a pure jumla. Make in India, if it had succeeded even partly, you wouldn't have the manufacturing mess which you have today, which is the reason for slow GDP. Then what will you do with the extra money in your pocket with your fiscal deficit showing at 4.8 and hoping to be 4.4 tomorrow? Remember, we have Manmohan Singh government with 3%. Now you can give, economists like lawyers always have sophisticated explanations. The point is that you will say that, okay, we are giving more money and yet we are maintaining fiscal deficit. But maintaining at 4.8 is bad enough. 4.4 is not a good figure. So the value of your money is decreasing. And I'm most concerned about two things. One is this low Make in India manufacturing base. Two, capital expenditure slashing. Huge slash. 11.11 lakh crores to 10.18 lakh crores. MSMEs, you keep on mentioning them as a jumla, but have experienced no great kickoff. Forget COVID, your excuse is COVID. I'm talking of much after COVID.
No, Mr. Singhvi, so, economy slowdown is a given, though the government has had very different responses at every point. But do you see the measures announced today, at least as an intent to tackle the slowdown? Is that something you see?
Yes, the question must be seen in the context of the same government for several years. It's not a new finance minister. It's not a new government. The slowdown is under their nose. So the question arises, if you have got this slowdown, just rewind to the last time's budget, play the Prime Minister's speech. Same words by the Finance Minister. Why didn't it happen in the last year? That's a very good indicator of how you are just shoring up expectations, boosting confidence by verbiage. These four reasons need much more than a personal income tax slab cut. Economies are not kickstarted by you having only more money in your pocket, maybe more savings. It is kickstarted by the unleashing your animal energies in entrepreneurship. There is nothing great here if you have less Capex. Make in India doesn't seem to be working. FIIs are withdrawing money. So I think you need some very big kickstarting. And now you're blaming also, let me tell you, the subtext is you're blaming your own RBI. The RBI is the independent watchdog. Now you're hinting, the subtext is, oh, they didn't give enough credit cuts to reduce the interest rates. अरे भाई आप ही सरकार में हैं, आप ही चला रहे हैं सिस्टम, और अगर पुराने आपके फिगर्स इतने नीचे हैं तो आगे के लिए भविष्य के लिए तो आप बजट में कुछ, बजट इज ऑलवेज फॉर द फ्यूचर, राइट? So it's easy to say, but then on past experience of similar words, similar government, similar finance minister, you have reason to be pessimistic.
Okay, Mr. Singhvi, budget after budget, over the last few years, opposition ruled states have cried foul. They've alleged discrimination. Well, this budget, of course, the emphasis is evident on poll-bound Bihar. That's for everyone to see. But how do you see it for opposition-ruled states? Is it any different?
Never has there been a greater assault, and I'm using my words carefully but very forcefully and clearly. Sneha, in the last 75 years, there have been different colors of government, including BJP governments earlier. Never have I seen such assaults on federalism generally as this government in 10, 15 years. That is general federalism. Now, federalism can have various facets. Political federalism. Now let us talk of fiscal federalism. Is there any doubt in your mind that BJP-ruled states versus non-BJP ruled states, or BJP ruled states along with allied states, have a differential treatment everywhere in anything? Take, for example, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh. Check the dates. When Nitish Kumar was in his pre-Palturam days, when he was there, they were crying horse for these special packages. Did anything happen? When Mr. Naidu was literally screaming for years. So now you have the whitewashing effect. You get, I'm not saying that a special package. Special package is a term of art, it's a technical term. But you get huge supports. Tell me one, if Delhi asks for something like this, or Telangana asks, will you get it anywhere near that? Will you consider it sympathetically even? Now take the case of West Bengal. West Bengal has been shouting from the rooftops that you have to reimburse us. Forget West Bengal, Tamil Nadu also, on the GST deficit, right? You know that.
Yeah.
Where is that reimbursement?
Right.
Because unfortunately, the central government is happy if the states not ruled by them or allied with them are unhappy. Because unfortunately, the central government sees everything in raw, crude political gain terms. So your state will suffer, there'll be some tightness, and look at the way your governors are behaving. They're not passing legislation. So the idea is that the state gets frustrated and the people get frustrated, and the people in that frustration will vote against the local government, which otherwise the BJP would have no chance of defeating. That's the new definition of federalism we are having.
Well, Mr. Singhvi, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your perspective. Pleasure to have you. And I'm being joined by Dr. Dharendra Tayal at this point, who's a spokesperson for the BJP, Deepak Reddy, who's the national spokesperson for TDP, Dr. Rohit Azad, who's an economist, Dr. Nishant Anand, who's a national spokesperson for Congress, and Salem Dhanidharan, who's a spokesperson for DMK. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Big day today. I'm very tempted to ask, how do you all respond and react to the income tax rebates? But that's, all over the place, and I'm sure reactions from you have already been taken. But Dharendra Tayal, sticking to what really we are discussing, you just heard Abhishek Manu Singhvi. You've been hearing the opposition all through the day. They're saying this is not Bharat's budget, this is Bihar's.
Thank you, Sneha, for having me on the show. I would have expected that even the opposition would have been smiling today, but I don't see that happening. I wonder why. But possibly the wind is out of the sails. Now, before I come to the question you were talking about, yesterday I was on Mirror Now, and there was a wish list which had been put up by Mirror Now through its extensive survey. And the wish list was, the critical parts of the wish list were, that till 10 lakhs, there should be no income tax. And second was that, 15 lakhs is not really a higher class. So beyond 15 lakhs, you go to 30%. That shouldn't happen. We should have a slab of 25% till 20 lakhs. Much beyond that. Which has gone much beyond that. You asked for 10 lakhs, we've given 12. You asked for 20, we've given 24. The issue, coming back, the issue today is the whole country is rejoicing. People are extremely happy. There is more money in their pocket. But the opposition, unfortunately, really has no clue what has hit them. And now the proverbial trying to clutch at some straws is what they are doing. And coming from a person, you just spoke about Abhishek Manu Singhvi, coming from a person of his stature, one would have expected better. than saying, if this was going to work, why did it not happen earlier? I would want to ask him, if Manu Singhvi was supposed to be such a great guy, why was he not born 5 years earlier? I mean, how trite? You know, there is no extra money in the pockets of the people is what he is saying. I mean, 1 lakh crores extra money in the pockets of the people. And he feels there is no extra money. Why was this money not available earlier? I would want to know today when there is so much money. 80 crore people are being given food. There is so much money everywhere. Why was it not there earlier? Because there was a drain at the bottom of the barrel. Because money was being siphoned off, and Rajiv Gandhi himself said, we are siphoning off 85% of it. 85 paise hum le jate hain, only 15 paisa reaches the people where it reaches. Coming to the point that you've been making, that Bihar budget, ab kahin to kuch kehna hai, so they've come to it's a Bihar
Yes, Mr.
budget.
Salem, give me a few minutes.
I do not know why they are so anti-Bihar. If they look at the data, the per capita income of Bihar is the lowest in the country. Does Bihar not have a right to come up? 2, they said airports, airport being developed. What is wrong with the airport? Only 3 airports in Bihar, 19 in Maharashtra, 22 in UP, 11 in MP. Does Bihar not deserve it? Why is makhana being promoted? People are eating makhana nowadays. Your kids, my kids, we're all eating makhana nowadays. What's wrong with that? But no, why is makhana? FPOs are being created.
Okay,
10,000 FPOs are being created.
Okay, Mr. Dharinder Tyre, you have given your response. Let me just get in Mr. Salem Dhanidharan. You look visibly very bugged, Mr. Salem.
See, either whoever has advised the finance minister, it's the PM, people working in the PMO, they're actually very, very stupid, or they think I am stupid, or they think the people of this country are stupid, right? How is that increasing the tax slab from 7 lakhs to 12 lakhs will miraculously increase the demand in the country? Tell me. I've reiterated this in mirrors times now earlier. I'll tell you this again. Average per capita income or medium per capita income of this country is 1.8 lakhs, right? 75% of the population of this country earn less than 3 lakhs, right? So middle class is 50 percentile to 75th percentile. So how is it anything done for the middle class when people under earning less than 3 lakhs, there's nothing in for them, right? Because from the last 10 years or 20 years, there's been no income tax for people earning less than 3 lakhs. If you had to give benefit to the poor, downtrodden and the middle class, the indirect taxes should have been reduced. That is what is hurting them. And second point, people earning from 7 lakhs to 12 lakhs are just the top 3% of the population. So if you increase from 7 lakhs to 12 lakhs, it's about 0.6% of the Indian population, which is about 60 lakhs, 70 lakhs. Okay, they are getting some few thousand rupees reprieve. But then to make this as a highlight is someone has advised the people in the PMO, there is no money because the fiscal deficit is already nearly 5. And just do this and then we can flip it over. So someone has miraculously gone and given this advice, and people in the PM also believed, and the poor finance minister either didn't have any choice or she also believed it. And then they went and spoke. And then this is being showcased by all media, by everyone, by all press. It's absolutely baffling. And BJP spokesmen are coming and saying, oh, it's miraculous. We have increased the income tax limit to 12 lakhs. Who is it going to benefit? Not to the 99% of the Indian population. Not to the 99%. If at all you had to save the economy, you should have given some taxes for people earning more than 1 crore, people earning more than 10 crores, 5 crores. Use that money, increase the corporate taxes a little bit. So, maybe tax windfall taxes, and then use that money to reduce GST, indirect taxes, and based on that, they'll have more demand. Then the demand that is created in the economy would propel, and unemployment problem will also be solved. And then another problem is the rural economy is dying. So how do you spur the demand in the rural economy? Is simply by putting money in hands of the poor. I'm not saying it. Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz, Abhijit Banerjee, all are saying it, right? So to put money in hands of the poor, there's nothing more than putting more money in 100-day work scheme, Manrega. But Manrega's money allocated in the last 10 years has been reduced by 50% in real terms. Even this budget to last budget by real term is reduced by about 5%. So what are we talking about that this budget will, is there anything for anyone? There's nothing for anyone. I will tell you, even for Bihar, there is nothing.
Dharinder Tyre, you have a right to respond, and then I want to go to the economist who's present here to really decode what both of you are saying. Dharinder Tyre, please respond. A minute to you.
Yeah, so it is very interesting what he is saying, that how is this extra money in the hands of the people going to raise the demand in the country? Today, when there are global headwinds, the global uncertainty index has risen. Now, in those situations, when there is surplus money, then surplus money will chase the goods.
Whose
There will
middle
be
class?
demand created. When there is demand created, it will spur the economy. It's basic, very basic
Basic
economics.
economics. I'm not
So let
denying
us
it.
not economists when we are not. Number one. Number
It
two,
is
he's
basic.
saying what has been done for the people less than 3 lakhs, earning less than 3 lakhs. So we take it that the opposition is saying they oppose this thing given to the middle class. They are opposed to it. They want that this concession to the middle class should not have been given. Let Salim say that the DMK
Yeah, I'll
is
come in. I'll
saying,
come in.
no, this should not have been given. Let me finish. Next, 80, if you're talking about below 3 lakhs, 80 crore people are being given food grain, my friend. So you should know what is happening. Ayushman has been spread out. The out-of-pocket expenses in the health has come down to 36% from 68%. So that is where the poor are saving money. So
All right.
I'll just
Antodaya is
come in. I'll just
happening.
come
All
in.
right.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
you've got
Okay.
no
I
clue what
have
is
to,
happening.
at this point, get
No, I have to reply.
Dr.
No, I have to give
Rohit
a reply. No,
Azad
madam.
in. Dr. Rohit
I have to give
Azad.
a reply. I
Okay,
have to give a
Mr.
reply. No,
Salem, you have 40 seconds. I can't give you more than that. There are three other
no,
people
because he gave
here.
a point. I have to reply. See, what is middle of
Okay, go
number 0 to
ahead.
10? Middle of number 0 to 10, 4 to 6, 4 to 7, not 9 to 10. So which means middle class in this country is 50th percentile income to 75th percentile income tile. So right. So which is people earning between 1.8 lakhs to 3 lakhs. So how is this reply for middle class? That is the wrong thing first. And second,
All
I
right.
believe
Now,
putting
with
money in hands
all
of the
these
poor
complexities,
will
let
spur
me
growth.
try get
But
Dr. Rohit Azad. Dr. Rohit Azad. Between this number game, which often switches off many people, particularly ordinary viewers who may really get baffled with numbers, don't give us numbers, Rohit Azad. Do us that favor. What you would need to do is get us,
No,
what do you make
I'm
out
not
of
going to, I'm
today's
not going to give.
budget? Today's
Yeah,
allegations that are really coming out and saying this is not India's budget. This is Bihar's budget. How do you see this?
okay. So, uh, yeah, so a few things, and give me some time. Number one, this number was, and this number needs to be quoted, that 80 crore people are being given food. That just represents the fact that people are in distress. Otherwise, why would you give food? If you're giving food to people, it's already a taken that essentially they are in a bad position currently. As far as the tax rebate is concerned, somebody correctly said that it's only going to benefit people who pay taxes, right? So it's just 3% of the people of this country. So if at all, and that I agree, of course there's going to be respite for people like us, but then that forms only 3% of the demand in this economy. A large part of the domestic demand is actually the poor people of this country, the rural areas. And if you look at just a few numbers, because those are important, in terms of what the government should have done, given the fact that there has been a slowdown, on every single expenditure item, there has been a fall compared to the announcements they made. And that is why it is important to see that right now they may be making, they may be promising the moon to the people, but if they're not going to deliver on it, then these numbers don't make sense. Just to quote you one number, 1 lakh crore is being given to the middle class. Fine, perfect. But what is the number in the budget that is being quoted? That 1.8 lakh crore more is going to be the revenue from. Who's the revenue going to come from? If the revenue foregone is 1 lakh crore, how are you going to get to 1.8 lakh crore in the coffers of the government? So there is an assumption that this is going to spur growth in the economy, which with the limited 3% population creating a domestic mass consumption demand is very unlikely, especially when you've already cut expenditures on rural development. Even though you're projecting it to increase, given the past experience, I would say this budget is good for the middle class, but not for the economy in general.
Okay, not for the economy in general. Let me just get in at this point, Dr. Nishant Anand. Dr. Nishant Anand, a lot in the Congress are speaking about how it is about Bihar, Bihar, Bihar. Not just Congress, actually across the opposition parties. You have TMC who is saying the budget was screaming Bihar, Bihar, Bihar. There are other leaders who have said that I think it's Manish Tiwari who said this is not Bharat's budget, this is Bihar's budget. What what exactly is the point of anguish for Congress at this point? Rahul Gandhi has said this is Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Politically speaking, there's been a lot happening between the centre and the states, with the opposition ruled states crying foul. In this case, there were states that were mentioned, including Karnataka for that matter. Even Tamil Nadu did get a mention. There were some announcements for Tamil Nadu as well. So there were some opposition ruled states that were mentioned in today's budget. Tell us what's really the sore point at this point.
Good evening to everybody. See, the takeaway from today's budget is that the BJP is winning the medium taxpayers, middle class, and the Bihar electorate. See, the announcements will be welcomed by 3.2 crore tax-paying middle class and 7 crore voters of Bihar. For the rest of India, the Honorable Finance Minister has not done anything much, has had no more than soothing words. Now, despite talking big on some of the things that they have mentioned last year, skills, science and technology, the budget has been reduced. PM Awas, it has been reduced. See, punctuated by the applause of BJP members led by the Honorable Prime Minister. Financial performance, if we talk about last year and this year, and if we talk about PM Awas...
No, let me come to the topic. Let me come back to the topic. Dr. Nishant. Allow me to come back to the topic. Now, in the states that were mentioned today, you have Tamil Nadu, revamping shipbuilding clusters, urban challenge fund. You have Karnataka that has been mentioned, 500 crore investment for AI excellence centers, 10,000 grants under PM research fellowships. You have Telangana that finds a mention along with Andhra Pradesh for infra investment, focus on Telugu language for that matter, funds for urban water upgrades. You have Punjab as well that has found mention for increased pulse cultivation and loan limit of 5 lakh, up to 5 lakh rupees for farmers. Punjab along with Haryana. I'm particularly trying to understand when it comes to opposition ruled states crying foul, where is the argument when you're looking at all of this?
See, the sectors that have suffered the most and the amounts has been cut are in health. If you talk about 1,200 crore has been cut. If you talk about education, 11,000 crore has been cut this budget. Social welfare, 10,000 crore. Agriculture, 10,000 crore. See, the farmers has been asking for the waiver of loan. Nothing has been spoken about it today. Rural development, 75,000 crore has been cut in this budget. Urban development, 18,000 crores. So whatever the requirements, see, we cannot give benefits to Bihar because the elections are coming this year. We have to, the finance minister has to look at all the states together. Now you look about the cuts on the SC, ST, OBC and minorities. Example, PM Anusuchit Jati, Abhyudaya Yojana, Young Achiever Scholarship for OBC, EBC, all has been not been taken care of. Post-matric scholarship for ST programs for development of STBs, 2,140 crore has been reduced this year. So I think nothing has been done much for the, whatever was required in this budget has not been delivered. Only the Bihar people has been taken care of because the elections are coming.
Okay, let me just very quickly go across to Deepak Reddy. Mr. Deepak Reddy, Jairam Ramesh said Bihar got so much of focus, but why has Andhra been so cruelly ignored?
Good evening, Sneha. I've been looking at the Congress and the India ecosystem totally disturbed from morning. After 80-odd defeats in election and a hat-trick defeat in the Lok Sabha, now they have figured out that the coming Delhi election is gone and the future Bihar election is also gone. So that's, I guess, the root cause behind their frustration. So one Congress person comes and says that why so much of funds are given only to Bihar. I challenge you, add up all the amounts which have been given to Bihar and compare it to the percentage of the total budget, you would see that their cry is not substantiated. And now, another aspect. So they again turn around and say, Andhra has more MPs contributing to the government at the center. How come they're not given as many projects? Another false propaganda they're trying to peddle. And, you know, you can see from the last 7 months, they are desperately trying hard to somehow wedge differences between the members of the alliance. So let me tell you certain facts which will shock you. They've been saying that Andhra hasn't gotten anything, but Chandrababu Naidu ji has clearly tweeted out now, and he's in the press also he's spoken, and he's congratulated the finance minister for the wonderful budget. and the support which is being given to Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
So I don't think the Shakuni tricks which the India ecosystem is trying to play on the Andhra Pradesh would work, because Congress has blood on its hands by cutting the state into two parts.
Okay,
and
we have
has
more
done
to discuss
injustice
on this show, Dr. Sir, Deepak Reddy, sir, we'll have more to discuss on this, but allow me to interject at this point. I'm being joined by P. Chidambaram right now, who was the former finance minister also during the earlier UPA regime. Very good evening, Mr. Chidambaram. Thank you very much for joining us. My first question to you, Mr. Chidambaram. Prime Minister Modi has called this people's budget. BJP and its allies is saying this is one of the best budget that people could have expected in years. As a former finance minister, how do you look at this?
Well, I've made a statement in my press conference. Except determinedly wooing the 3.2 crore tax-paying income tax filers and the Bihar voters, what is there in this budget for the vast majority of the people? What is here for the daily worker, casual labor? What is here for the Maganrega worker? What is there in terms of the non-income tax, but nevertheless tax-paying vast majority of the people? Everybody pays GST. Everybody pays tax when he or she buys petrol or diesel. What is there for these people? There is relief for the income tax paying people. That is 3.2 crore. There are 4 projects announced for Bihar. I'm happy for that. But beyond that, what is there for the vast majority of the people?
Mr. Chidambaram, even Congress has said this is not Bharat's budget, this is Bihar's budget. Essentially, you are also making that point. If we are just sticking to that, now, even the TDP, for that matter, has gone ahead and said this is just Congress with a very Shakuni mindset, with the winds going off their sail. Quite literally, they are very flabbergasted with how the budget has been put across. They are in fact claiming, and this is what the BJP is claiming, this is what Finance Minister actually claimed, that even though the tax rebates have been made, for whatever it is, the revenues are going to only increase. And I had the numbers, I'm trying to find it. I think 1.8 lakh crore revenue to be added is what they are claiming. How do you see all of this add up?
See, whether revenues will increase or not has to wait until the end of the year. For example, last year, they said that the tax revenue to the center will be 25,83,499 crore. But actually they got 25,56,960 crore. So the budget at a glance shows that in 24-25, they did not achieve their revenue target. I'm not saying it has to be repeated next year also. But what is the guarantee that they will achieve the revenue target? So we should not count the
Mr.
chicken before
Chidambaram,
they hatch.
the BJP claim...
I don't want to say one way or other, but just a moment. Going by 24-25 numbers, which says that they have not achieved their tax revenue target. You can go by that only. That is the only evidence available today.
Okay, Mr. Chidambaram, you are saying don't count the chickens before they hatch. BJP is saying it's a Shakuni mindset for the Congress that's very derailed.
I don't know what Shakuni mindset is. We are simply responding to facts. If facts are inconvenient, I can't help it.
Okay, Mr. Chidambaram, I mean, you know, I was just looking at your last budget and I was looking at this budget as well. You know, your last budget, for that matter, had some announcements, whether it was for Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra. You also had it for Tamil Nadu, Gujarat. Also, these were also opposition rule states. This budget also, if you look at it, you do have mentions for opposition rule states as well. You do have it for Karnataka. You do have some for Punjab. You do have some for Tamil Nadu as well. Now, I'm trying to understand as a, you know, for a viewer who's watching it, beyond the rhetorics, when the opposition repeatedly says, and leaders like you who have been former finance ministers as well say, that this is an absolute assault on federalism for whatever it is in various forms, including this budget. How do you really explain this to a commoner?
Attribute words to me. After this budget, I have not spoken about federalism. I have not spoken about any other state.
No,
Why are you attributing words to me and
it was the
asking me
Congress.
questions?
It was actually Abhish. No, I did not say. No, Mr. Chidambaram, it's not attributed to you. I'm not quoting you on this. I was quoting, in fact, Abhishek Manu Singhvi said that this is just about an assault on federalism. I'm not quoting you, but I'm trying to understand with the opposition rule states saying that, listen, the opposition rule states are not getting anything. If that is, I mean, with the context of what has been announced today, how do you really explain that? Because TDP here is saying, add up the promises that have been made.
Please listen to
add
the
up all
answer,
the promises that have been made.
Madam.
It just goes beyond. Yes, please, go ahead.
Will you please listen to the answer?
Yes, please, go ahead. Yes, please.
I am not obliged or required to comment on the statement of another person. If another person, another responsible leader has made a statement, you please ask him. In fact, you attributed it to me, but I take your word that was a slip of the tongue. But I have not spoken about federalism. All I'm pointing out is that Bihar has been given a special mention. Not once, but 4 times in the budget speech. I'm happy for the people of Bihar. But why do you extrapolate it and say things which I have not said? Please ask a relevant question in terms of my statement at the press conference or what I've written or tweeted.
Sure, Mr. Chidambaram, so when you are saying Bihar has got special references or multiple references, is it in context of other states that have not got similar mentions or should have got, particularly the opposition rule states, is what I'm asking?
I am not saying that the finance minister should mention all the 29 states, but just as she highlighted the projects or announcements with respect to Bihar, she should have also highlighted some other projects or schemes or announcements for other states. I did not hear that. I may be wrong, but I did not hear it while listening to her speech.
Okay, Mr. Chidambaram, my one last question, and this is regarding Capex, the Capex that has been revised. Is that concerning?
Of course it's concerning. Capital expenditure has been cut by 92,682 crore in this year, 24-25. Capital expenditure has been cut by 92,682 crore. And I have got the sectoral cuts also. If the nearly 1 lakh crore cannot be spent on capital expenditure as envisaged in last year's budget, that speaks poorly of the capacity of this government to implement its programs and schemes.
All right, Mr. Chidambaram, thank you very much for your time and appreciate you joining us on Mirror Now. Thank you very much.
you. Thank you.
All right. And let me just go across to, at this point, Deepak Reddy. So Deepak Reddy, I remember Deepak Reddy, I was just hearing what you were saying before Chidambaram. And here's what you said: add up everything and see what Bihar has got is definitely not more than other states. But here's what Mr. P. Chidambaram is saying. Look at the way in which Bihar got mentions vis-a-vis how other states got mentioned.
There's nothing wrong, Sneha ji, in getting a mention. It was a straight challenge. You can add up the math of the total allocation for Bihar and then compare it with other states. You can't see a great lot of difference there. And another thing, after Bihar, they start getting Andhra into it, saying that now the common thing what these people are raising is Bihar has only 12 MPs in the government, but Andhra Pradesh is given 16 MPs. Why aren't they mentioned so much, or why aren't so many projects being given? This is another agenda what they're driving. Their intention, this is not once, but it's going on every major issue. They try to, play between us, and they want to get a differences between us. That's their agenda. Now let's come to the fact. Although it's not mentioned in the budget, Andhra Pradesh has been given so much by BJP. Polavaram project, Amravati reconstruction, railway zone, steel plant, several roads and bridge projects. Then ArcelorMittal had some issues. That was cleared. NTPC, green hydrogen was given. Amravati ring road project has been given. Zero budget farming amounts were given. Learning transformation program is being implemented. Health funds were given, and bifurcation promises, and the list goes on and on. I didn't get into the whole list also. So many were given. Similarly, most states are getting their share in n number of projects. Merely by not mentioning it there, you can't find fault. When people have to be, they should go into the details, not be so superficial in their comments, is what I would like to expose the Congress India
Dr.
ecosystem.
Nishant Anand,
They are pretty
Dr.
much
Nishant Anand, respond to what you're hearing from Deepak Reddy. Because here's what it is. Last budget and even the previous budget, the one big thing that the opposition went hammer and tongs over was the fact that the middle class is being squeezed. The burden of taxation is with the middle class. This time, they seem to have hit the hammer on the nail, at least with that. Is that, at least the BJP is claiming, that's the reason why you are bringing in this whole foul cry play with regard to how opposition states are being treated in this budget?
See, a lot was expected by this budget. Something on farmers was expected, on youth for youth it was required, for women empowerment it was required. All the other states like Haryana or Delhi, there is no budget has been increased, and they have reduced their budget on education, healthcare, and all the states should have been treated equally, which is not being seen in today's budget. As P. Chidambaram sir has said, or Abhishek Manu Singhvi has mentioned, that it was all the states were not equally treated. Now, we are pointing out why have they not done anything for the class which was required, like farmers, women, youth empowerment, healthcare, education, and all the other states. They have not, the budget is not expected as it should be.
Okay. My last question at this point, in fact, I'd like to go to both of them very quickly, a minute each to both of you. Dr. Rohit Azad, if you look at what BJP has done, what Prime Minister Modi has done in this budget, do you see substance to what Abhishek Manu Singhvi said? That this just continues the assault on federalism. And I'm asking you this in comparison to how budgets have been also a political document under governments.
See, I think it's true for every government. I mean, governments do this, they have their compulsions. So I wouldn't say that there's something exceptional about it. At the same time, if you look at, so actually there is this announcement which has been made vis-a-vis Bihar. If you look at it carefully, most of them are essentially announcements with lip service. I can read them out to you. Makhana board, constituting that. How much money is going to be given to that? What exactly is it going to do? As far as Behta airport is concerned, that's something which was already there. So in that sense, even in terms of what could be done to Bihar, they have not really done. So it has to be seen in the context of merely projecting. These are all signals basically for the elections. So there's nothing substantial even for Bihar, in my opinion. And hence, I would say that making this argument, which makes it obvious that you are essentially saying that, okay, I've got your support, so I'm going to make some announcements for you. If you were to really do something, then you would make clear and more substantive announcements, which I don't think this government has done. So even on this limited point that one would make.
Dharinder Tayal, your last response.
Is it to me?
Yes, Mr. Dharinder Tayal, go ahead.
Is it? So I think something very interesting is happening here. On one side, somebody is saying everything has been given to Bihar. On the other side, somebody is saying actually nothing has been given to Bihar. So we really don't know what's happening. Chidambaram comes in and chants Abhishek Manu Singhvi. So we don't know whether federalism has been attacked or not attacked. Now, two important points I want to make here. In 67 years, our limit for tax, not paying tax, came from 0 to 2 lakhs. And in 10 years, it has gone from 2 to 12 lakhs. That is some governance. Two, it is really fancy to hear from Congress on the budget. I'll just give you an example. Before the Lok Sabha elections, Rahul Gandhi said, I will give 1 lakh rupees to every family in the country. Right? We have got about 30 crore families. So he was going to distribute 30 lakh crores, which is our entire revenue. Now, so much for budget, if you were to give it to Congress, that they are going to talk about the budget here. And Mr. Chidambaram also said, what is going on? I mean, the people down the line have not been talked about. I think he missed that part about the gig workers. It's been talked about in great detail there. So, they're saying what has been done at the bottom of the pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid, everything is done, but somebody who's not paying tax, should I give him a tax rebate? Here, it is the taxation, personal taxation, which is being discussed. And it is not somebody from 11 to 12 lakhs, it is 0 to 12 lakhs that we are talking about. So that entire spectrum has been taken care of. Not talking about somebody who's only at the 12 lakh bracket. So this is becoming so ridiculous that since I don't have anything to say and I have to say something, let me clutch at some straws in the air. There is nothing there. It's a fantastic budget. Narendra Modi government has delivered what it had promised. And these people, when they go to Himachal and they say, we will give you OPS, we will give you 1,500 rupees.
Okay, Mr. Dharinder Tayal, I think we leave it to people who are going to be voters at some point over the next 5 years in different states to decide whether it's a fantastic budget or not. But I think at least the taxpayers are a happy lot, whether the political lot as well as people living in different states are going to be a happy lot. That's something that we'll have to wait and watch. Dr. Dharinder Tayal, thank you very much for your time. Deepak Reddy, thank you very much for your time. Dr. Rohit Azad, thank you for joining us. And Dr. Nishant Anand, thank you very much for joining us. It's time for a very short break. On the other side, my colleague Shreya Upadhyay will take it over.